Welcome everyone to today's episode of Planet Nomads. We are taking a look at the SkyTrain transporter by BCP Labs. If you haven't checked out his stuff on YouTube for Planet Nomads, you should. He does a lot of great stuff. And the reason I'm checking out this one today is it has a very nice little mechanic in terms of lifting and carrying stuff. And what you can see is we have these little hooks here that function kind of like a claw to grab, say, a bar on the back of a large storage container, lift it up, and carry it off. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, you just have the rotors, and you see how they're mounted. We're using the little rotational aspect of it to move the claws in and out. And then it's just simply the small air blades, a small deuterium generator, and a switch, along with a little control thing there, and the cockpit, of course. Very simple. Very straightforward, but basically there's a couple of things that are really nice about this. One is the movement. You of course have forwards, backwards, turn like normal, but then we also have, if you use the left and right arrows, strafing. That's right, you can strafe with this, which obviously in certain cases is very useful, especially when it comes to maybe lining things up just right to pick up a container using a bar mechanism like what you would need for this. And then the other option, of course, is the claws, which are currently mapped to home and end. So you adjust with home and end, and basically you hit the button. It keeps going all the way till it stops, either direction. And then the insert key is actually a stop button. So if you want to do it like that, once it locks in, so it's not shaking anything, that's what you use, the insert key. Other than that, home and end will open and close it. So I have a very basic, just the storage container with a little bar, just doing the framework for that. So yeah, you can see it's definitely gonna be a combination more of trying to line it up, and that's why the strafing element is quite nice, honestly, for this. I'm not sure how low I need it to be for this. I feel like I could, you know, if we had a smaller beam type marker, that would help a lot with this, something like that, and I was not close enough. Okay, a little bit lower, a little bit more forward, I think. Go. There we go. All right. I got it somewhat. It's in there somewhat. It's still kind of definitely a little tricky to line it up just right, but that's basically it. It's an interesting mechanic, different from what we've seen in other things where, you know, we use like the little hover jack to grab hold of it, use that like magnetic lifter type mechanism. It's definitely quite useful in terms of just the overall mechanic. The whole claw machine kind of thing is really nice. Did I get it? I got it. I think I got it right that time. I'll stop it. And yeah, I did, but I didn't line up just right. So you see how it's kind of turned a little bit. I feel like maybe having something that causes it to stop quicker would help. Maybe something that helps slot it in so it's not just the bar would be nice. Maybe something to play with on that. But yeah, basically you just have this, you grab the container, you know, you go and drop it. Now, the one thing I don't like about this is that when you do the bar on the container, you're not going to be able to just pick the container up and move it and dock it in some place and be like, oh, there it goes. It's done, you know, ready to go. But the reason I'm looking at this design, and oh, yeah, you see it got caught on it a little bit there. The reason I'm looking at this is I like the hook option. That has given me a really creative idea for my next little design I'm going to be doing. But yeah, this is just it's a very clever use of a game mechanic that we have, which is the little rotors and making a little hook to grab on. You typically see people using winches for this sort of thing. And while the winches do kind of work well, and that's what they're really implemented for in a certain aspect, they're also kind of clunky in the way you have to do it. I mean, you have to get out, winch it up, do all this stuff with it, and I'd rather just, you know, drive up and say go. And of course, we can't forget to check the speed. So without a container, I'm hitting 52.7, just no turning or anything, 52.7 kilometers per hour. So that is a pretty good speed right there for it. You're not going to be flying off into space because of a physics bug, and you're not going to be going so fast that the terrain fails to render very well. And you see how much it lags up as I come back to my base. Oh boy, you really do have to kind of time it just right. Even then, it's still kind of off a little bit. It feels like one of the claws moves slower than the other two. I basically had to go like home, insert, like go, stop, and try to line it up. All right, so, wow, that's interesting. Obviously, if you don't get it lined up quite right, you're going to be turning a bit. So that is affecting the kilometers per hour because I'm kind of turning and getting that extra little bit of, I guess, speed from that. Now I'm shifting back. It's funny, I'm getting more speed. It feels like, yeah, it feels like I'm getting faster with the storage container on board. So, yeah, that's it. That is the Sky Crane transporter. With a little strafing capability, and just I love the claw mechanism. Now I want to see somebody make using this like a claw game in this, or actually create a real working crane. There is a crane somebody made that uses the magnetic lifter. It'd be kind of cool to actually see somebody make a crane that will grab storage containers with the claw type mechanism and move them around in your base, so you can sit there and basically have a like work site where you use the crane to move storage containers around. It's not as efficient as the mover tool, obviously, but it'd be kind of cool if somebody wanted to add that feature to it. It's like, oh yeah, here's our work site. This is how you move these things around. And of course, what kind of host would I be if I didn't do the fun part of releasing that? Oh yeah, look, it's hung on that. See, if I hold home, it just keeps going. And there we go. We dropped the container. Bam! It's gone forever. Ooh, that also means you know, if we had explosives in the game, like timed mines or something like that, that you could trigger remotely, you could use that to drop some bombs on places. So, a little bit shorter episode today. Just a quick look at a very creative, inventive, at least in my opinion, design that really needs some good attention. So check it out. Link to the workshop design below, as well as make sure you go check out BCP's YouTube page and watch some of his videos. He does some really creative stuff in Planet Nomads. Again, that's kind of like his thing for his channel. So he does a lot more creative stuff than I would say I do. So definitely check him out if you haven't already. But that's it for this episode. So if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, let me know what you think about the design, and of course hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I'll see you in the next video.